Hey guys, welcome back to Tea or Pepper Soup. I'm here to give you an update on what happened. Big Brother Lockdown Reunion Day 3. I did it yesterday, but I did it live. Since my Tea or Pepper Soup channel hasn't reached the criteria for me to go live, I went live on my other channel, but notwithstanding, I think it was a blessing I didn't do the live here because the weather changed and my network provider went on vacation. So let me just give you a recap of what happened for yesterday's Big Brother. So the whole thing started with, I don't know, the whole thing started with Prince. It's almost, I watched yesterday's reunion and it was almost like I didn't even watch the Big Brother show when it was on in 2020, and I did. Because Prince seems to be in the middle of a lot of things. Remember, day 2, Prince was in the middle with Nengi and Uzo and Dorothy. Yesterday, it was a square. No, excuse me. That was more than a square. I think it was an hectagon of a situation. They asked when the Prince, the entanglement between him, Dorothy, Watuni, Nengi, and Tolanibaj. So the question was thrown. Okay, the question was thrown first. First they showed us the highlight of him with these different parties, and the question was thrown first to Watuni, and Watuni was like, because the way Ebuka phrased the question, it was like, Watuni, you're apparently friends with Nengi, but you were shooting your shorts with Prince. What's up with that? Well, Tony was like, oh, she did tell people that she liked Prince, but she didn't like him to date him. She just liked him, which I feel like she was lying through her teeth, to be honest. They also asked Tricky what he felt about it. I think Tricky was one of the people she communicated with about likeness for Prince. Tricky was like, he didn't think it was Cruz at the time, but I think she kind of stepped back when she saw the other contenders in the ring. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of explanation that could have just been shortened into like 2 sentences, but basically she was trying to cover her ass. Then they threw the question to Tolanibaj. Like, how did Tolanibaj feel about the entire situation? Tolanibaj was like, her and Prince didn't work out because at first when Prince came to her, she felt like Prince was trying to use her as a rebound since him and Nengi didn't work. And she was not about to be anybody's rebound. Let me just see, Tolanibaj was doing too much yesterday, to be honest. She was doing too much, but she did, I think at that first part she did explain herself well, like, oh, she didn't want to be the rebound. Plus another thing, she felt like Prince didn't like her like that, and Prince was just using her for the game. She also said she felt embarrassed when she came out of the house and her family, they showed her some clips. Personally, I don't think there are any clips of Tolanibaj and Prince out there that she should be embarrassed about, but girl, I cannot be 100% sure. So she felt embarrassed with what went down. They threw the question back to Prince, and Prince was like, he wasn't taking her on the cruise, but there were several things she was doing that he didn't like. He said she liked PDA. He wasn't the PDA kind of person. Plus, she was possessive. He didn't use the word possessive, I'm paraphrasing, but like these people were just like going here, going back and forth with their many G's, making the program long. Basically, it was like, she's the kind of girl, like, if she has a problem with someone, she doesn't want you that she's dating to interact with that person, and he's not that kind of person. So hence me saying that, oh, she was possessive. And then it said she was a complainant because she kept complaining about everything he does. So it wasn't like he was taking her on a cruise. Things just didn't work out. It wasn't using her. And then Tolanibaj went off on Prince. I don't know if that girl was drunk yesterday or she was just playing for the camera, but that was the Tolanibaj we saw in the house. I was a big supporter of Tolanibaj in the house, and yesterday I was like, oh, I don't know if she was doing it because she felt she would come on top, but she didn't come on top to me. The whole thing was like, ugh, girls, just keep quiet. Can somebody just tell her to sit down? So she kept saying, no, Prince used that, blah, blah, blah. And Ebuka threw a question to her. Ebuka was like, you are looking for loyalty from Prince, but at the same time, you were making a move at your supposed best friend in the house, boyfriend. The best friend supposed to be V and Neo. We all remember when she left the house and she was saying if Neo is interested in her when they leave the house, like she's down. We all remember that drama. So Ebuka put the drama on the table. But he then asked V, how did V feel about that? I felt V was very articulate. I don't know if that was like a strategy for her, but if it was, it worked. I felt she came out on top. She said she never had anything bad for Tolanibaj, and she never suspected anything while Tolani was in the house. But when everything came to light, she was understandably upset, and she said so many things about Tolanibaj because she was upset at the time. While she was even speaking, Tolanibaj just interrupted this girl and was screaming profanities at her. Like, I remember everything she said, but because of like YouTube, I cannot say most of the words. She called her the B word. She threw a throw pillow at her, and then she was like, I'm going to beat you. Maybe if not beating you here, when we get to the hotel, I'm going to beat you. Like, my God, I was like, Jesus, can we get an after party of this reunion? Because if they are going to fight in the hotel, let somebody be holding phone to film this thing. Let's get some Tiwa Savage, thing. Anyway, Tolanibaj rigged. It was a lot of raking, and I felt throughout the whole thing, V kept her cool. V just kept, talking. She was making sense. But when Tolanibaj was getting so hype, Ebuka had to throw a question with her, like, okay, fine. I see you're upset. And Tolanibaj kept saying something like, oh, V has Twitter fingers. So I kind of feel like it's all what V said about her in the house, or what V was saying as they were sitting down that was annoying her. I think there was a Twitter war that went between them that was pissing her off. I don't follow them on Twitter, so I totally miss whatever that was with them on Twitter. So Ebuka asked her now, how did you find yourself in this situation? It's kind of like giving her a lifeline of defending herself, because she's getting pissed when I feel like she's not the party in this situation to be angry. And she kept saying that, oh, Neo was the one that told Erica that he was feeling her. And at that point, I'm like, where is Erica when we need Erica? Because Erica's name kept coming up a lot that yesterday, and there was no Erica to speak like, oh, this happened, or this didn't happen, or I felt this way or that way. And she was like, Erica told her Neo was feeling her, and blah, blah, blah. That's how it all started. My mind was like, okay, so your best friends or your friend, because child, you're not best friends, like your friend's boyfriend said he was feeling you, or like you look good that day. How does that make it okay for you to go after him? I felt she wasn't explaining herself. She was just acting drunk to me, and she wasn't really making sense, to the point that even Neo said, shouting at her, speaking pidgin English, like, girl, calm down. Like, and Neo had to defend himself at one point. It was like, yes, he did compliment her, but like it was something he said to the entire house. And even if he said that to Erica, he didn't deny saying it to Erica. Like, he does compliment girls in the house. As she was looking fine that day, she had a hair change. He didn't see that it was going to be a bad thing to compliment Tolanibaj. Tolanibaj stood up. Oh God, it was a lot. She did too much. I was like, what, child? This is a train wreck. So he was defending himself that complimenting her doesn't mean he wanted to do anything with her. And girls like Dorothy and some other people were like, oh yes, Neo knows how to give compliments, and the house is one of those serial complimenter. That's a word. Tolanibaj kept going off, and then Ebuka kept throwing the question back to her, like, because she wasn't answering the question. Why? How did you find yourself in this situation? What ticked you off that you decided that, oh, I'm going to go for my friend's boyfriend? And then she was like, oh, she was just trying to make Prince jealous. That's why she went for Neil. But at this point, I'm like, girl is just trying to give like whatever excuse she could come up with. If she had said that at the first instant when they asked the question, I wouldn't have doubted it. If she hadn't been so riled up, I wouldn't have doubted it. And then when V was speaking, she kept saying like, oh, shut your mouth. When you get a college degree, speak what I'm speaking. I'm like, girl, are we really going to brag about college degree in Nigeria? Like, college degree in Nigeria is basically water. Everybody have a degree. Like, seriously, I don't really think that's where to brag. A degree is not a thing to brag about right now in Nigeria. Like, people have the degree in stacks. So I felt like she was just throwing profanities, giving insults that didn't make sense. They were not good clapbacks for me. They were just screaming, talking, and then she kept saying, I'm a bad B. I was like, okay, like, you're a bad B, you don't have to say it. Like, you shouldn't have to say it. But anyways, so it went on to the point that they were calling each other Run's girl. I think V called her Run's girl. And then she said, what about V that everybody knows she's sucking, whatever. It was a whole lot. I don't even think I can give you the gist and give you like 2DP. But at the end of yesterday's fiasco, what it boils down to is all the argument, which I feel like that's the whole point of it. And I felt like if the producer wanted to rile them up, they could have easily, especially with Tolani going off the way she was. Anyhow, Tolanibaj looks hella crazy yesterday. Like, I could not believe it. It was a different Tolanibaj. And V made a statement, because that was what I was wondering. Like, I watched this girl in the house. Like, I felt I liked her. What's up with this? V was like, this thing has played out. We have met ourselves outside of the house, outside of cameras. You didn't act like this. Because, girl, like, I will beat you when we get to the hotel. You didn't act like this. So what is it with the cameras being here and you are just playing? So I'm like, girl, if you are playing this for the camera, it sucks to be you. It really did. I don't know who advised her to do that, but nah. She went, it was a train wreck. Anyways, guys, in the ballpark, that was it for day 3. Let me know in the comment section what you think. I'm thinking of doing it's not going to be a live stream because Tea of Soup is not well there yet for me to do a live stream, but for today I am going to like put it on live, but for obvious reasons I can't put the content on so you guys can watch it, because you know, multi-choice be out for my ass. They've blocked me like a couple of times, so I'm going to just react to it. You guys can hear the audio while I am reacting to it. Then when they go on break, I will explain all that transpired, so like whatever you heard through the audio can make sense to you as well. So that's it for this one. Do drop a like. Let me hear your comment, what you thought down in the comment section below with what I've explained. What did you think? What did you think? If you did see the clip itself and you have something to say or you're contradicting me, let me hear down in the comment section below. Also, do subscribe. Smash that subscribe button, your notification bell, so you do not miss any more of my uploads. Till next time, stay safe. Bye bye.